with a matrix of push buttons lists all the companies in the East Delta.
It's raining again. It was clear just an hour ago.
Stuck in the rain in a traffic jam, man. What's on your mind?
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge. The woman is still hunched over the railing.
Huh? What is it?
A lorry stuck. The windows are clear.
Likely, yes.
There he is, in front of Rita.
Nobody betrays your degeneracy. That is precisely the negligence that you reek of it. An invisible sword of Al Ghul emerged. Yes,
He means alcohol.
correct. My small skull. Al Ghul is an ancient Ilmaran poison.
Intentionally fermented drinks have existed for 10,000 years.
Your life and the life of your race revolve around Al Ghul.
It's not good.
It's like a rat crawled into your stomach, got drunk and drowned.
Your mouth moves, but the one who speaks is Al Ghul. Occidental Haplogroup.
Does this remind you of someone? The guy down there?
The ethanol fungus is deep within your nervous system, pulling the strings. You are merely its pupa now. I see no hope for you, begging for help, attempting to pass fear for cooperation. You gave the world eugenics, electricité. You dominated. Listen, you will be superseded.
It is, baby.
There is a button right behind him, just out of reach. It must be the one that opens the door to the harbor.
Enough with this begging. You should bring your troops to the Simenine Islands. The walls will be lined with bottles of
There may be a peaceful solution to this. You could internalize Meshahed's race theory. he would take you as one of his own. Well, yes. Why? Don't you want to be a Seminese supremacist? So what if you're not Seminese? You can be anything. He does not so much as glance at the object.
Stop showing me your...
He had nothing to do with it.
Racists are generally not very good example.
Welcome to Revachol. You hear him yell at a... He must think redheads are immigrants.
I am not like them. I am craniometric perfection.
The drawings are precise and look true to their pseudo-scientific ambitions. One thing, however, it is not entirely free of throwbacks in the phylogenetic tree. His large jaw, for example, could be a trait indicative of criminalism. Also, his earlobes.
That atavistic stigmata makes pussy.
Babe, thanks. But I got this. Don't be vulgar. White or not has got little to do with this. The race enigma runs much deeper than that. Mr. Clare is a man of vision and means. He has the will to confront. Also, to serve is noble. It takes discipline. Your petulant individualism has only contributed to it.
He looks toward the harbor, motionless, the tattoos on his face like a...
We still need to get into the harbor. We need help with the tree situation. There must be an...
The worker is in a deep slumber. There is only one way to wake this bone idol from his slumber. Roar like a hurricane. Rip the building.
Why the yelling, man?
Looks like a sow descendant. A lot of sow dock workers around.
Really? You woke me up for that? Fine. What is it? That's the name of my employer. I work in the... How's it going? Haven't you noticed what's going on outside? Good. Then you understand the gist of it. For one, I can get some... Nate got it. Majoret's got it. He's guarding the gate. We are. The workers. The union. We know what we need. Okay. I guess there's also Everard. He's in charge of the union. Yeah. What about it? You know, people die here every day. If someone has decided to die on top of a tree, then how is it my concern? I can tell you that. You heard what I said. Draw your own...
The lieutenant gives you a little nod, then makes a note in his blue note.
Indeed. Help yourself to some. Thank God, no.
The worker stares at you. His...
I don't know what you're talking about, kind.
The dock worker doesn't answer. His head is all...
looking for something, Hunt? Come to tell me to... Drugs? They're shit, man. I don't let... You know where that shit comes from? They know they can't beat us in a fair fight. So they have to get us to weaken ourselves some... I don't go for that foreign piss. Proper booze is made in Mundi. Or sometimes, I like a drug.
He eyes you warily.
I don't know shit. And if I did, I wouldn't tell you. What do you think?
There was a bunch of spilled boxes in the back of a big lorry nearby. The man pulls on his cigarette furiously, probably still thinking about mosquitoes and ass cancer.
Oh, not much anymore. Apples.
Apples is exactly the...
Yeah, apples. I take it you had other questions? Isn't it obvious? Fucking Sealang, that beady-eyed South Samaran. His little side business is a scam. I wouldn't be surprised if he was peddling drugs. He's a Samaran guy who likes to pretend he's some kind of businessman. Just follow the smell. Yes. Looks like his tribe are natural liars. It's in their blood. He's your man, all right?
I wouldn't be so sure about it.
Guess so.
Stuck in the rain in a traffic jam, man. What's on your mind?
There are clothes inside. Cheap.
Don't be shy. These are premium class clothes.
How about some premium class save the economy? That sounds off.
Haven't you heard, officer? We've got to be economically conscious. Recycle your cash, keep it in circulation. Don't... Very cool. The
There's a pile of cheap sunglasses.
You like sunglasses, officer?
Stylish shades, huh? You see a Samaran street vendor surrounded by a motley assemblage of goods. When he realized the name Sileng.
Happy shopping, officer. Everything's cool.
From out on the bay, a cool wind gathers. It sweeps into the city, tugging at the
You're very cool. Bang, bang.
You feel a twitch in your index fingers. There's a finger shootout brewing.
Don't shoot, officer. Have we got an arrest here or just a shakedown? Of course, I'll come quietly. But perhaps I could convince you to arrest some of my wares, officer. With your money, maybe? Me? It's a boring story, officer. Who cares?
This man probably comes from Seaguy, sometimes known as the Apricot Suzerainty, an archipelago. Apricot Suzerainty calls to mind an era when the Seaguy archipelago was colonized by Revachol. It's a bit of a slur, in other words.
That's right, officer. But it's a bad scene for business there. Too many... Hey! Why not support this local entrepreneur? Drugs? I don't go in for that. Unless you're into drugs, of course. In which case, drugs are excellent. Mwah! Tasty, tasty drugs. That's very cool.
Sir, it appears to be true. No drugs in sight. Not in the box of sunglasses or under the speakers.
That's even cooler. You investigating that and all?
A blatant lie, sire. Yet he tells it with such conviction.
Who said that? It's the fat racist, right?
So you admit you're...
No, I just said I was.
realizing he can't get out of it.
Okay, maybe I'm a lorry driver too. A little. But that's not the most important thing about me. That's my day job. This is my dream. Exactly. It's such a small part of my life. It's in the rear view mirror now. I'm climbing out of that hole with ingenuity. No! That's insane! It's the fat hater. Nothing. I told you.
And what crowd is...
Crowd. You know.
No, he wasn't talking about an abstract crowd. It was that crowd.
Shush, please. There's bad people doing bad things here.
Here we go. There's a tiny bit of truth on the table. Zoom in on it.
It's a she, okay? The other drivers call her the lady driver. You're better off staying away from her. The way they talk about her, she's no lady. I don't know. Maybe.
He's not ruling her out.
All of them. I don't know. I told you all I know.
Who exactly is talking about this lady driver of yours? The racist or the other one with the tattoo?
All of them. Even the ones who've left. I don't hang out with them. I don't remember who has tattoos. All right. I scored. Let's cap this off with a purchase. You can walk away from here with funky sunglasses, detectives. Both of you.
Start with a little compliment, then work your way up from there.
Oh. Okay.
After all this mess,
An investment? What kind of investment? Fair point. You can't have a successful business without a loyal customer base. How much is your loyalty worth? 10 real is a bargain for that kind of investment. You got it, my man.
Evening, officers.
a burly man hangs out by the waterlock, carving up a generous serving of salami with an old hunter's knife.
My friend Barry the Butcher is stuck on the other side of the waterlock. I'm keeping him company.
From the corner of your eye, you see a man in.
Very good stuff. Anything I can do for you? I wasn't here to witness it, but those look like tire tracks on that sign. Too bad it also takes a year and a day to repair anything around here, especially a waterlock. The rest of the coast is closed off till then. Well, there's the fishing village, an abandoned fish market, a bizarre... Yeah, not really much else. Sure thing.
It is salty. It is savory.
Want some too, officer?
Why not?
A couple of indicator lights are missing from this control panel. This panel usually closes the waterlock, turning it into a bridge that lets you cross the canal. But there's a crashed salmon and butter sign in the way. Wow, a very large red t-shirt with an impressive print stands out from the other. Oh yeah, the print depicts a muscled man. The antlers on the hood of the man's cloak and his piercing blue eyes are familiar. Smells like worn cotton, and a worn cotton with a...
Sniffing is okay, but please don't try anything on.
It's the man from Hen.
Walking away from his burning village, yes. The man from Helmdal is the hero. In fact, most people...
Helmdal is...
Neither is the man a real man, of course. But both the man and Helm...
Wow, what?
I mean, even if the man from...
Okay.
You sound skeptical. Besides, I've been to Kotla.
It's for the best, because Helmdal is not... His theory isn't exactly incoherent.
2 real.
That's dirt cheap.
But why? I deal in goods, not services.
A typical Martinez streetlights. Streetlights like this one were part of a renovation effort a few decades back. Sadly, the effort was abandoned before it was complete.
Yes.
His manner is casual, but his speech is careful, measured. He wants you to know the light pole has been carefully cut and the wiring has been... This would make quite a statement in your living room.
It was brought to...
We are not here to investigate the theft of seed. You have to admit it's rather clever what he's done with it.
The boomboxes on the shelf look well-loved and well-traveled. Chipped. One especially catches your eye. Deep gut. Just make sure it works before you buy it.
If police work means playing tapes, sure. You can use it for that. Absolutely. I've tested each one myself with...
That's odd. Why doesn't he like music?
The stuff I record myself...
Maybe you should ditch music as well.
Is the Harman Welshie W2.
You see rows of toy soldiers guarding the rest of the big men on big horses.
Franco-Nigerian knights.
They're not all blue. These figurines also wear gold coats and caps, complemented by orange trousers.
Which ones? Ah, those. Yes, they are.
This set of soldiers isn't meant to look impressive.
You're probably talking about the revolution. I think their poverty has been exaggerated for effect. When you place them next to the royalists, it doesn't seem like they could possibly win. Maybe.
Why? What's this? A headless man riding...
Oh, that's the headless phone rider. The headless phone rider. It's an urban legend. 50 cents. Bargain priced. I'll throw in the tiny cap.
He lost his cap when he lost his head. Perhaps he's looking for the head.
Did I mention that this figurine is supposed to be lucky? Always carry it with.
Hey. Psst. Psst. Hey, yes, you. Word on the street is you're ready to start building communism again. Yes, you're ready to start building communism again. You've built it before. They've built it before. Hasn't really worked out yet. But neither has love. Should we just stop building love, too? Good. We need tender men like you building gargantuan communism. You keep saying things like, down with the bourgeoisie, eat the rich, sodomize the landowners, impale all people who have more than two. Okay, not in so many words, but don't deny it. You're about to rip off that mask of social democracy. Everyone can see that. So tell me, Do you have any questions before we fire up the big communism builder? Or do we get right down to it? Very well. I guess no one will build communism with no objections. It's mathematic. Anyone? There's no one. Okay then. Light.
Lowman, you caught me at an opera. Did you just call me a lady, Herife? I'm not that either, Herife. I've gone too far from it all to remember what was between my lips. I'm only terrifying to small children.
Yeah, it's not her. Believe me.
Because they can no longer recognize the person. The big ones, the trucks. There's no women in the middle of this town.
You feel very cold suddenly. In the background, a quiet song seeps from her cabin into the air.
How should I know? Do I look like I spend a lot of time with the other communers sniffing around? Oh, Sim.
Looking for something, Hunt? Come to tell me to... I don't know what you're talking about. He did something. He stole his employer's goods and another lorryman's. Listen up, fuckwits. You don't scare me. You cops don't run Evashel West. You don't run Martinez. You don't run anything.
No. He means La Puta Madre.
A legendary, and not in a good way, crime boss from Jamrock.
Yeah, him.
Then I presume you are familiar with his peony.
Yeah, they're his little bitches. He's got them.
Not just the unions. He has peonies everywhere. Some say he even has them in the RCM. Dirty fucking peony.
The lieutenant adopts a rodentine quality. Be cool, sire. He's getting into this.
You're not peonies. You wouldn't be invested.
No, of course not. We are not peonies. But if we were... And
he's surprisingly good at this.
It's not a hard job. It won't take a long time. It won't make Padre Madre angry. But it's too...
I'm not scared of you or the mob. I'm under the protection...
You've seen that corpse in the ceramic armor there. Did his...
Nah, you wouldn't just leave him out there if you...
The lieutenant turns and gives you, be careful. This man's still got some fight in him by the looks of it. It won't be easy to break him. Men like this only respect two things: strength and...
Fuck you, I told you.
There. His voice grows smaller as yours.
Look, fuck you, man. It's some lorry down there. Green, banged up thing. I don't fucking know who she is.
When did she go away?
I don't know. I don't even know her name. She just rolls with the fleet and acts like a big shot. Some dyke, probably. Past the monument. Down there. The Green Temple. Now, leave me the fuck alone.
A small temple by the monument. Green.
Stuck in the rain in a traffic jam.
This screen found
This must be the one he told us about, unless he was lying.
The glass on the side windows is tinted and covered. The door is locked. There's no picking this lock. The owner has put special...
Use the pry bar to smash the window. Open it from the inside. I don't know how good it is, but this investigation has taken long enough. We can't afford it to take any longer.
Pry bar in hand. You take a hard... Looks like the window might be shatterproof. You may have to rethink your approach.
No, it's not shatterproof. Give me that.
He smashes it into the window. Droplets of glass fly everywhere, shattering.
It went better than I expected.
The smell of cigarettes and perfume welcomes you. The cabin inside is plastered with old movie posters. These are movie posters. One of them particularly catching. There's definitely perfume in the air. It's spicy, with a hint of amberette, wafting through the bitter, the remnants of a sweet juniper-scented perfume. The actress is draped in a sheath. Wait, doesn't she? This is Tijon, a starlet from the... She wasted away in a drug den. The actresses and the... Looks like the frequency dial is absent. It requires a key.
Strange. There are so many radio stations saved here. Must be over 100 at least. For contacting an entire fleet of lorrymen, for example. This is all shortwave. Looks like we are dealing with an impressive organizational tool.
A 20-kilometer radius at least. Perhaps extended by an attachable antenna that's not here right now.
Doesn't look like it. It's completely inoperable without the dial key.
The smell of 1,000 cigarettes. You wedge yourself under the steering wheel to get a better look. Seems like the few tools, but one odd detail does catch you. Sandpaper adds extra grip.
Sandpaper? A novel technique? Yes? Which means that the missing lady driver was present at the lynching. We've identified one of the footprints, but
the movie stars are still smiling from a metallic drawer slides out from the seat. It's an issue of Peripherique. It looks like an article ripped out from a radio.
The Ulan frequency system? I've never heard of that before. I know of FM, AM, UK.
The pull-out tool slides back into its... You close the...
Great. I think we got everything. A word, detective? Before we return to Joyce? All right, we've finished here. Let's quickly debrief and go over what we found, so we don't do it in front of the company. Honestly, I'm especially intrigued by that radio transmitter, particularly the sheer number of stations it...
This means it's well funded.
I'm not sure what the Ulan frequencies are all about, but they may hold some significance. Perhaps it's a better way to connect between fleets while avoiding frequency bleed, or maybe it's used to tap into RCM networks. We didn't find anything conclusive linking them to the smuggling operation. My suggestion is we use it against the Union in any way we can, to our own ends. It's a slippery...
In short, this is a future angle. Possibly a good...
We should return to the murder case. See what Joyce tells us about the lynching. When we are done for the day, I call my station and suggest our narcotics department look into it. There are more than enough grounds to start an official investigation, sometime later when we are done here. We do not want to get caught in that. The fact that one hasn't started already gives me pause. An investigation, I mean. Especially if the Madrid group... All the same, I don't like the idea of internal affairs descending on the matter. That won't help anyone either. As elegant as they...
Don't be fooled. Desire always plays a role.
Yes, well... Debrief over. I've...
Yes, my eyes on the harbour have sent word to that effect. What have you discovered? It doesn't really matter, and I do apologize.
One of the tall buildings overlooking the roundabout, most...
In any case, it's a relief to know someone has looked into it. If I may ask, will there be an official investigation? I assume you discovered there is an operation.
If there is an investigation, it will be part of an ongoing operation, subject to confidentiality.
Of course, detectives. In any case, you've held up your end of our arrangement. I trust you with the... I wouldn't normally break protocol like this, but the situation demands it. If you don't solve this murder, I'm afraid we may have a bloodbath on our... Yes. I'm afraid this strike may descend into a small-scale civil war.
Since you are sharing, ma'am, this is also the RCM's worst case.
Then we're on the same page, as grim as it may be. I have an indirect role to play, I'm sad to say. My employer experienced a momentary lapse of faith in me. In that moment, they elected to deploy a private military contractor as an insurance measure. They called it my security detail. They were dispatched after I relayed the union's initial offer.
Every worker...
A member of the board. I tried to convince my employer it was simply a piece of rhetoric or a joke. Absolutely not. These mercenaries are muscle, pure and simple.
Who are they, exactly?
Crenell, an Oranese military company. As far as I know, 3 arrived in Martinez. They report they wear ceramic armor, have semi-automatic weapons and years of combat experience. They also have trauma and stressor disorder, and no idea how to conduct...
So, what...
The story is, one of them, the colonel, I don't know his real name, sexually assaulted a local woman while he was drunk and separated from his unit. He was taken out behind the whirling in rags and lynched. Nothing. Mr. Clare refuses to let me into the harbour. I have not been able to discuss this matter with anyone there. It's a smokescreen. In secret, they are conducting an independent military tribunal into the lynching.
What is the nature of this?
Whether to execute one, some, or all of the Union militants. Surely you're joking. These people are killers. My only hope is that yours provides a single, concrete suspect. before they indiscriminately... If you don't pin this on someone good, and do it fast, they will identify and execute everyone present at the lynching.
The débardeurs have over 2,000 men.
Have you ever seen a hornet invade a beehive, Lieutenant?
The Serai's giant hornet.
These men work in tandem using semi- and fully automatic firearms. Their armor is virtually impenetrable to muzzle-loaded weapons.
The muzzle loaders need to be reloaded.
As I said, a bloodbath. It doesn't have to be like this. Nameless, badgeless, one single concrete suspect delivered into civil court. A good one, and I may be able to defuse this situation. Not much. Their public resume is relatively good, as far as private. They boast a long list of clients. Saint-Baptiste, Welchman...
Meaning they're used to...
Yes. All the good conflict corridors. Supra... Sadly, no. Before this happened, I had little interest in them. If you still have access to the ICP's database, you could run a better...
The International Collaboration Police, ICP, is charged with coordinating law.
Do you know a lot about the inner work?
In my line of work, it pays to do your research. I was prepared to deal with the RCN. I did not think I'd be dealing with a group. I have. And they will. However, these orders take time to read.
She's being truthful. She is pressing them as hard as she can.
Or he didn't. This is information passed on to me from some teenagers loitering around the canal. I cannot testify by it. The remaining contractors. That the man was killed because he assaulted a local woman. I've asked around a bit. This seems...
The lieutenant consults his notebook.
Odd. We haven't heard any reports about an assault in connection.
Last Sunday night, at the Whirling in Rags, the hostel by the gates. Supposedly, the colonel was drunk. Either way, he's alleged to have sexually assaulted a woman. Sometime later, that's a good question, officer. I don't have the slightest idea. As I said, it's a rumor. About a rumor. In any case, it's what the colonel's remaining colleagues believe. If you mean did I see him alive? Yes. Lely, his service name. A nom de guerre, most likely. He wouldn't divulge his full name. Only one of them did. A bad sign if there ever was one. He was 40. Or 50. It's hard to say which...
What else?
He was, Occidental, I think. In a way, it was humanizing. He had to learn to speak through it. Through the injury. That's all I know, I guess. They've gone to ground, as it were. I don't recommend seeking them out. For one, they're almost certainly armed to the teeth. They don't have the same respect for the Revachol citizens' militia as I do. To put it bluntly, they think you're vigilantes. Ghetto savages. It will not be a fruitful meeting. You're likely to run into them eventually. When that happens, I'll be in a better position to mediate if I don't appear involved.
One is obviously the scab leader at the harbour gates. The one chanting the idiotic slogans, he's barely maintaining. The other has a vantage point in a building south of the roundabout. They were keeping tabs on you while you were canvassing the lorry drivers.
That may be so. I still hope you heed my advice. There's no...
For all your talk of averting this catastrophe...
Of course it bothers me, Lieutenant. But my hands are tied. How would my employer react?
Your concern may be appearances.
That would afford a good vantage point.
Where is your radio for contacting them, if I may ask?
Heavens no. I'm not an undercover agent. There's a short wave at the ship's wheel. I hope I can answer it better. Until the executions start. Truthfully, I don't...
They don't report their progress.
Not on this matter. I'm afraid they consider this a personal... It's a matter of days, not weeks. I am sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. If there is a... Of course. Excuse my hesitation before...
For about half a minute.
It was taken with a trigette not long ago. This is the man's upper body. There were no more markings on his hands or legs.
Her mouth is relaxed. The accordion lines near her mouth vanish. The pearls of...
Sorry. I was trying to see if I can't. But that's how you read this story. The points themselves don't have letters, numbers, anything. Their size, location on the body, and distance from each other tell close. Port cities. This is an Oronese map of the waterways, a sailor's tattoo worn by wayfarers of the Dolorian century. Over 300 years ago, the sailor's soul would use it to fly back home if they should die abroad. This is a sort of contraption to be reeled back in. Quite a few. Vredefort.
What next?
Then he made his way to the Pretto Grande, through Revachol. Those are the two constants. Vredefort.
The old wood.
You said you can't...
I can't. This man was no sailor, and these are no ports. I can understand geographic...
Vredefort? Vredefort has a military academy. The Seminoles Islands saw a recent conflict.
That makes sense to me. We have no more use for a map of the waterways. Just like we don't need sailors
For all the boys looking for an adventure, a blood spatter on the sea.
His platoon members? The other contractors. Though I do not suggest you go and show them that picture. This man was their friend, and
Surely there are other people to ask about the tattoo. This is not necessary to complete the task, officer. It's a dangerous side task. Search elsewhere.
I am relieved you think so. I don't think deciphering that tattoo should come before public security. Is there anything else I can help you with?
We should think about calling it a day, maybe. The nights are still miserably cold this time of year. You should take care of that, then. Let's talk to him anyway. An officer of the RCM shouldn't be sleeping in the street.
Can I help you? Yes, have you got it? Does that arrangement include you paying me what we already agreed you owe me?
I understand your predicament as the manager. However, I feel I must remind you that we are here to conduct an important investigation that also...
Forgive me for saying this, but your colleague seems more committed to drinking. I mean no offense. It's really nothing personal. I just have to protect the interests of this establishment. Good luck trying to use it.
Draconian measures.
All the locks have an electronic component. They have to be unlocked down here with a master key before your guest key will open the lock. Not until you bring me the money.
Okay. I might have something in my motor carriage we can use when you're done here.
Oh, Lieutenant.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers.
I have something here we could sell. Look in the back.
Transport enclosure. The cage at the back of the motor carriage looks rather uncomfortable.
I confiscated this for a little while back. We can take them to the pawn shop down by the Martinez Canal. There are spinner hubcaps, frivolous things you put on your wheels. When the wheels come to a stop, the caps keep on spinning. A couple of weeks ago, I stopped a young man for going slower than the speed of traffic. Turns out he was some coalition official's son and high. I don't know. Is it? I was going to take them into evidence, but they weren't necessary for conviction. He never asked for them back. No, that would be silly. I don't know why I kept them. It doesn't matter. I couldn't put them on this MC anyway. A cop with speed.
He flashes a smile, barely visible in the dark.
As I said, they're useless anyway. I should have remembered I have these earlier. Yes, the bird's nest Roy, near the canal. We've been there. If I'm not mistaken, it should be open late.
The lieutenant nods as you take the spinners.
What can I do for you? I haven't had any problems myself.
Who are your customers?
All kinds of people come through here. As you can see, I have a wide selection of goods for everyone to choose from. It keeps me entertained.
He's well composed, but underneath it you sense entertained. He might be high. If he is, on what? Feeling warm and enthralled by the movement of light, while the mind continues to race forward. A drug developed by the military to treat and prevent radiation sickness. It has psychedelic side effects, and it makes your eyes turn yellow.
I try to keep the shop at a comfortable temperature. Rolodon is just something I was with the emergency relief.
He's taken it for mental and emotional, not physical pain these days.
There's a reason why everyone's tried to forget any of it ever happened. So much disappointment. and early. No one's. A bunch of poor people built themselves a primitive nuclear. A bad idea. Some poor leftist built a particle decay generator in hopes of bringing a.
The People's Pile was a Type U particle decay generator that failed immediately after entering service, releasing radioactive waste into River Esperance. A primitive nuclear reactor, also called a pile. Construction began during the Commune of Revolution. Needless to say, an emergency valve defect resulted in steam pressure blowing the turbine, taking the fuel containment vessel up in the explosion.
We were an all-volunteer force. So
on the patch, gamma radiation.
I lived by the river since I was a small boy. There wasn't much the volunteer force could do, however. We wasted years in the river mud. Years. The cleanup happened 15 years ago. I was young then, so I came to Martinez. People told me don't go there. It's a shithole. I said, people, I like the theory more than the story.
Yeah, you gotta get in on those vortices, my man.
Yes, we'd like to sell these hubcaps.
Roy takes the hubcaps from the lieutenant.
Yes, these are very, very good. Did you defraud some foreign print?
No one was defrauded or jumped. Are you sure?
Of course. I meant no offense.
Thank you. Here's the 100 real you need for your bill. Do not waste it.
The rest is for him, to compensate for the...
Anything else you're thinking of selling? Anything else you're thinking of selling? Another time, perhaps.